Aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for another live classroom session. Today, we have our special presenter, Renee, who's our engineering friend. She'll go ahead and give you a little bit more information about where she works and what she does, but she'll be leading our session today. And we have Noel, who's operating our slide deck. And so he's there too. And then I'm here also to manage the chat box. So if you have any questions, you can just put them in the chat and I'll try to catch those as we move along today. So again, thanks for joining. I hope you all have been active in either Google Classroom or Google Hangout or wherever you guys have been meeting. We'd love to hear updates from y'all. If you can go to your social media pages and post pics and just leave some comments, that would be great too, to give us a glimpse into your lives over there and your fish tank projects and your team. Okay, well, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. This image, you'll see it on our Facebook. We updated our numbers. So just to give you guys a snapshot of what our competition looks like right now, we have 11 strong teams right now competing in Fish Tank. There's a total of 32 students right now, or participants, I should say, in our competition. You will have 91 days and we have one mission. So we're going to talk more about what that mission looks like and all the nitty-gritty stuff of the technical parts of how to do engineering design today. But just wanted to share this with you. I'll go ahead and post it in Google Classroom. If you like the image, you can like it on Facebook or you can share it on your Instagram or whatever. And then you can use the hashtag FishTankHigh for any of your posts. Okay. So I think we're going to go ahead and jump into engineering design, and I'm going to hand it over to Renee, who will be your presenter today. Thanks, Renee.
Thanks, Lisa. Hi, everyone. I'm Renee. I work at SSFM International. It's an engineering and project management firm here in Hawaii. We have offices on all of the major islands, as well as in Guam and in Manila in the Philippines. I'm a civil and structural engineer, so buildings and roads pretty much. So today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about the engineering design process and how that's going to tie back into your technical documentation, so your report and your presentations. So I'm sure everybody has seen this slide before. This is our fish tank design process, and we have our 7 steps. And they're understand the issue, define a problem statement, brainstorm solutions, design and model, test and evaluate, model and improve, and present the solution. So most of you guys are probably around steps 3 or 4 right now, since you already sent in your proposals. So you've had a lot of presentations already about what is engineering design, what is the process. So we know that engineering design is a process. That process is iterative. So you're going to be cycling through and revisiting and testing. But a big piece of that process is also collaborative. So it's not only with your teammates, but with your mentors, with your fish tank helpers, with your subject matter experts, with the community. So collaboration is really important because everyone has something different to offer, and there's different viewpoints, different strengths. And when you get everybody together, you can leverage that. And remember to be open-minded and communicate with each other to make the most of it. So understanding the problem. Why is that important? Everybody should have done this. And you ask, what's important about your problem, identify your user. One of the things that's helpful is to look for a root cause. So if you haven't done that, it would be helpful to take some time to really think about that. Sometimes the cause that'll have the most impact isn't something that's immediately obvious. So for example, if I'm sitting on my couch and my TV is not working, it might be, oh crap, I broke the TV, I need a new TV. But could it be that the remote doesn't have batteries? The batteries are dead? Or there's something blocking the sensor? Get up and check the TV and it's plugged in, so it's not that. And it turns out that the power's out to the whole house. So that's a big difference from my TV broke. So sometimes it's helpful to look for the root cause to figure out what the solution that you need or that will have the most impact is going to be. So make sure you ask who, what, where, when, why, and how to help bolster that understanding. Step 2, defining your problem statement. So all of you did this when you submitted your proposals. And you're probably going to do some more refining between that proposal and submitting your report and doing your presentation. So think of your problem statement as an anchor or a compass. You're going to want to check back in with your problem statement as you move through the process. So when you're doing your design and your testing, go back to your problem statement to make sure that the tests that you run really do apply to the problem that you chose. For brainstorming solutions, this isn't just what you do in the beginning when you decide on your problem statement and what your design is going to be. Go back to brainstorm solutions at all phases. It could be something that you run a test and something didn't work out. So you need to get together and brainstorm solutions on how to fix that. Take advantage of that collaboration. And don't forget to document all of this in your engineering notebook. For step 4, design and build, start with a plan. It helps to sketch things out, and it could be a diagram or like a drawing or actual sketch like is shown in our presentation, but you could also do a flow chart or just make a list. This is kind of your recipe for your design. So if you're artistic and visual, by all means, do something like a 3D model or a sketch. But if you're not, don't worry about it. You can do just as much with a list on process or a flow chart on how your process is going to work, especially if you have an idea that's more like an app or a community program where you can't really sketch out a picture. So don't get discouraged on that. You can still go through this process without having to draw something. Test and evaluate. So this is going to be internal or external. You can test things in your group, and you can also test them with sample users or get feedback from the community. So get your audience involved. There's no greater feedback than that of the person that's going to be using it. A lot of times when we get into our designs, we're so familiar with it that we make assumptions and things make sense because we know what they're supposed to do. So if you have an app and you're like, great, it works, you might give it to somebody outside of your group and they're not going to know what to do with it because it's not clear to them. So getting that kind of external feedback and evaluation can be really valuable in getting a product or refining a process. And you don't need a physical product to get feedback. You can do polls. Like one of our teams last year did a survey. They went to the grocery store and surveyed people, and it changed the goal of their solution or their product based on the feedback that they got, which was excellent. So step 6 is modify and improve. This ties into your design. So this is where the iteration comes in. You're going to design something, test it out, modify it, improve it, go back, test it out, modify and improve it. Once isn't enough. So it might work, but is it the best product it can be? Is it ideal? It's kind of the difference between doing just enough, and doing something well. So part of the process is to modify and improve it. Because if you just do it once and call it good, it's not really engineering. So make sure that you at least do a couple of rounds. It can be time consuming, but this is how you learn to take that feedback and improve your product. Now the fun part, step 7, and kind of the root of today's presentation. Present your solutions. So to present your solutions, this has to do with a communication. You can have the best idea in the world or the best product, but if you can't communicate that to anybody else, and then nobody can benefit from it. So the solutions will be presented in ways that help you to build various communication skills. So your technical report focuses on details. So part of effective communication is knowing your audience. So your technical report is supposed to be geared towards an engineer or somebody technical that wants to know the details, wants to know how you got it. In theory, they should be able to follow your process and somewhat replicate it by going through your technical report. This is going to work on your writing skills, your written communication. So how well can you portray what you did in writing? Your presentation is going to work on visual communication with your slide decks, as well as your verbal communication, because you're going to be talking to us. Similar with your pitch. The difference between the presentation and the pitch is going to be the intent. So basically your presentation is like a condensed visual version of your technical report. You're introducing your team, you're explaining what you did, you're explaining the problem, explaining the solution. Your pitch is you're going to be trying to express why your solution is awesome and why it needs to be done and what impact it's going to have. So there's going to be, it's more emotional than factual. Well, it's still factual, but it's to evoke that excitement rather than just presenting information. So technical report, your scoring, which will help if you start running out of time, or this is the scoring breakdown. So you know which elements are being scored with what percentage. So your report requirements are 25%. Understanding the problem is 15%. Design and modeling is 30%, and testing and evaluation is 30%. So I just wanted to go in a little bit to understanding the problem. Like we talked about, this isn't just writing out your problem statement. We're going to be looking for, do you understand what the problem really is? Have you researched your problem? Have you identified your target? Have you looked into what the real cause of the problem is? So we're going to be looking for that understanding. For report requirements, Lisa's put together these awesome fish food handouts that are going to be in Google Classroom. And it has this information in there. But your report requirements are basically the different bullet points that you're expected to have in your report. So title page, table of contents, abstract, hitting on all the different sections that tie into the design process. And your appendices can be either, well, you're going to have somebody's technical notebook, but you can also have additional photos or calculations or anything that you think is helpful for somebody to read in order to understand everything and all the details. There's a breakdown of each of these items in that wonderful handout that Lisa put together. And she's also gone and put in an estimate of how much space it may take. Those are just suggestions, so you do not have to follow them. It's not a requirement so if we say your abstract should be half a page or 250 words, it doesn't have to be, but that's what you should be aiming for. So if your abstract is 3 pages long, then you're probably going to get marked out for that, because the purpose of it is to have a brief summary. But everything else is just a guideline to help you. Okay, so step 8. Not step 8. Sorry, we're still in step 7. It's pre-recorded presentation. So this is your main presentation. 30% of that is going to be presentation of your solution and explaining what your solution is and your problem and all of the meat of it. That's the information. The rest of the presentation score is going to be based more on your execution. So your organization. Was your presentation easy to follow? Did the progression of how you went through it make sense? Speaking skills. Did you speak clearly? Did you speak slowly? Did you speak quickly? And did you sit there and kind of mumble, and could anybody really understand what you're saying? Yeah. So speaking skills are important when you're giving a presentation. Body language and eye contact. Eye contact is really hard when you're doing something over Zoom. For a pre-recorded presentation, it should be easier because you can look at your camera. If it helps, post somebody's face next to the camera. So you're looking at a face, if that helps. It's easier on a pre-recorded presentation than on a live one, because a lot of times you're trying to look at people's faces on the screen when you're live, and your camera is never in the middle of your screen. So that's going to be a little bit tricky, but the intent is mainly that you're making an effort to engage with your audience, and you're not sitting there obviously reading notes. And even if you don't see your notes, it's obvious when you're looking down and reading notes. Your body language is important too. It adds a lot if you have appropriate body language or you use your hands. If you sit there and you don't move, it can be distracting. But if your hands are always playing with your hair and doing something while you're trying to give your presentation, that's distracting also. And then finally, 10% for your visual elements and timing. So that's going to be pretty much your slide deck, and did you stay within the limits of the presentation time frame, which for this one is 10 minutes. We're also going to be offering one-on-one meetings. So those one-on-one meetings are going to be held this coming week on March 1st to 5th. They're going to be first come, first served. They are optional, but we do encourage your teams to take advantage of this. You'll be meeting with a couple of our FishTank helpers, so you can ask them any questions you have on judging breakdowns, on process. If you have questions on your the feedback that you got on your proposals, this is an opportunity for your team to get together with our team and discuss things. So we'll have a let me go back. We'll have a sign-up sheet that will send the link out in the chats today during your breakout session. So you can sit with your team and discuss if this is something that you want to take advantage of. And Try to figure out what session you want to go with. You don't have to sign up today, but if you're ready to sign up today, we're going to give you an opportunity to do that right after the breakout sessions and the Q&A. So now we're going to go into your breakout sessions. We're going to put you into rooms based on your groups. Hopefully everybody has somebody from their group to kind of discuss what we went over today with. So what I want you to do is to discuss the engineering design process and how you're going to communicate that problem and solution in your technical report as well as your presentation. Discuss what you want out of those one-on-one sessions, or if you want to take advantage to that or of that. And then your goal for this session is to come back with at least one question to ask us here. If you have more, then that's great. But think of something that you want to know more about or you want clarified, and then bring that back to the group so we can discuss it in the Q&A. So Noel, they can do it by themselves, right?
Yeah. So I just barely created the rooms, and
Sorry.
I will. No problem. And we have 15, right? 15 rooms.
So there'll be 15 rooms and 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 rooms.
Okay.
The team numbers are just 15.
I created 15 rooms, and they are available now. So based on this is for our participants. Based on your team number, you can just join the corresponding room, that breakout room that corresponds to your team number. Does that make sense?
Yep. Okay, so everybody, if you don't know your team number, it's up on the screen now. So just find your name and go into the breakout room. Oops, sorry. Go into the breakout room that corresponds with your group. And we'll see you back in 15 minutes. So let's say 9:45. If anybody has trouble getting into the rooms, then if you can chat, we can help you out there.
Yeah, they're slowly, everyone's moving in, it looks like. Isabel is having trouble. Let me see if I can move her over. Room 5, right?
Sorry.
Oh, she's already there. Jada 14. Leo 15.
None of my teammates are here.
Oh.
I don't know where they are, but yeah.
Okay, you can just stay with us for now. How about Kaleo? I think he's the only one that I can see that hasn't gone into a breakout room. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
All
Tori.
right.
Yeah, some of the breakout rooms have just one individual. Tori's an 11. Myself, Serena is an 8. Kenta and 6. So for the folks that are just by themselves, what are we expecting them?
If they don't mind, we can put, since it sounds like we have 4, we can put them either all together or do 2 and 2 and have a discussion on that.
So I'm going to move. Sorry. Let me see what I can do with that. So long. Lisa, would you mind joining us room 6 and just let them know what's going on? I just moved I just combined two individuals who were by themselves.
Sure thing.
Yeah, and you just briefly let them know what's going on.
Oops, not that. Technical difficulties.
Renee, would you mind going into room 11 with Tori and Serena, just to let them know what's going on, because it might be,
Yep,
they may
I
be
can do
questioning.
that.
Yeah, okay.
You said 11, right?
Yes, 11. And Jada, if it's okay, I'll move you there as well so you can join that conversation.
Okay, thank you.
Just looking for my button. New computer means new interface.
Great. I'll just move you. I'll move you to room
Okay.
6. Yeah. Oh, shoot. 6. 11. And Jada, one moment. This is an interesting exercise. Need to. You're going to join Lisa in room 6. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Noel.
Hey, did we say 10 minutes or 15 minutes?
I don't know.
People are coming back, so it must be 10 minutes. So we
Yeah.
have 3 minutes left. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
Jada rejoined here. Main room.
Am I allowed to talk a little more about our project since it's just you two here right now? So I had a question, but I didn't
Sure.
want to say it in the room.
Sure. Or we can go back into a breakout room. It's up to you. We have like 3 minutes. What would you like?
We can stay here. My question was, we started writing like a script and stuff to what we would say to the DOE, but we're not actually going through with that. Am I right about that? It's just we have that.
Here, I'll send you an answer in the chat. Okay. All right.
Okay, there's a 1 minute marker for the breakout rooms. I'll be closing in a minute. My team, welcome back. Just wait, give others a few more moments here to rejoin us. Hey, everybody should be back now. Renee, you there? There you are. Renee, you're on mute.
I guess it automatically mutes us when it brings us back. The things I learned. All right, so I'm gonna start. Hopefully everybody had a good session and came up with their question. I will start with the question that came up in my group. So we had a unique group. We had a coordinator and a student that were from separate groups. So we were one of the 2 groups that combined 2 teams. So I had Tori, who's our coordinator for his group, and Serena. So their question is, if I can talk a little bit to the difference between the pre-recorded presentation and the live pitch. So the pre-recorded presentation is about 10 minutes long, and that one is more to do a visual presentation of your project. So introduce your team, explain what your problem was, explain your solution, how you got there, and your conclusion on this is my solution, this is why it's awesome. And it's kind of a comprehensive presentation. For the live pitch, it's gonna be a max of 5 minutes, live in front of the judges. And for that one, it's gonna be more explaining, hey, hi, I'm from team A, and we did this awesome thing, and explaining why your idea is innovative and how it's going to have an impact on the community. So the focus is going to be more on the benefits and impact to the community and explaining why your ideas, I don't want to say the best because they're all so different, but why your idea is something that needs to be done. There is a breakdown. Lisa made another beautiful sheet that's going to be available in Classroom under fish food. It breaks down the different, like a suggested topic outline for each of those presentations. So hopefully that'll be helpful. So after this, you guys can go look at that. And if you have further questions, you can either ask them in Classroom or you can do them in the one-on-ones. And we can explain things more if something's not clear. Okay, so next question. Do we have a room 1? Room 1 was occupied by crickets. Noel, do we have a room 1?
Are you referring to breakout room?
Yeah.
Geez, I don't have the.
Oh, sorry. Let me figure out how to share this list again. All right. You guys are going to get called out now. Nick and Solana, team 1. Are you guys here?
Yes, I'm here.
Solana's here.
Did you have a question to ask?
No, not really.
Okay. How about team 2?
Yeah, we had a question.
All right.
For the final proposal or whatever, do we need to have a 100% finished product?
You don't have to. It'll depend kind of on what your product is. So, for example, if you were doing, like, let's say that your solution is some, I don't know, let's just say for the sake of argument, a new phone. You're not going to be able to actually produce a phone, but you can still explain like how it's different and what the components are. So if you have, a lot of times if you have an actual product, your prototype isn't necessarily fully functional. So it can be a prototype, it can be a model, it can just be an explanation. So you don't have to produce like a fully functional portable COVID air meter or something. We're not expecting the teams to have the resources to be able to do something like that, especially in the short amount of time we have. The intent is more to go through the process. So you still have to be able to go through the design process though. So as long as you can do that and document that, that's more of what we're trying to get. And you know what your product's gonna look like or how you want it to be. Something that would also help for something like that is to explain or discuss why you can't have it or you don't have it. So if it's resources, if it's time, what you would need to get that, then that might be like a manufacturer to come on board. So short answer is no, you don't need a fully functional working product necessarily.
Renee, I can add on to that.
Sure.
So in step 4 of the EDP, there's 2 phases. You have your design phase and then you have your modeling phase. So what Renee said is super important, because in the design phase, you want to identify your limitations and your constraints. So all the reasons why you're not able to make this thing now, you want to kind of discuss at some point, probably in your technical report, and just as a group understand, okay, these are our limitations now, but let's say we were given like $10 million and we wanted to create this idea, what would that look like, right? And so maybe, money is obviously a limitation there, or constraint, however you look at it. And so you want to think about what the future product could look like, and then what would the iteration have to be in order for you to get to that idea actually working in the real world. And so for our competition, once you get a design that you like, at least in the initial phases, you want to try to model that, and then that model is what you're going to test and evaluate in some way. So your model can be take 3 different forms. You can do a visual, like a visual virtual model. You can do a conceptual model, or you can do like an actual physical prototype. So obviously, if you're doing a conceptual model, you're not building anything in like 3D space. It's all going to be maybe on a computer, or you're going to have some 2D representation. But that's really what the showcase piece that you're going to give to the judges during your final presentation, if that makes sense. So you have your design phase, you have your modeling phase, you have 3 different ways that you can do your modeling: virtually, conceptually, or physically. Yeah.
That's a great question. Thanks, Cassandra. How about team 3? Nova, Juno? Nova?
We were actually wondering about the mentor.
Okay.
I forgot we weren't sure how to communicate with him or get like a meeting with him and ask him questions.
Lisa, do you know how that process is working? I believe it's through your team coordinator, but Lisa?
It is.
It is. So your team
Okay,
should have the contact information for your mentor. And if she hasn't received that yet, we can send that to her ASAP.
Okay, so do we need to just like email him and ask some questions?
Or you through your coordinator, you could also set up a Zoom meeting.
Okay.
Yeah. You could do Zoom, you can
Thank
do
you.
a phone call, you can do whatever works for the 2 of you.
Okay.
Good question.
Thank you.
I'm glad that you're looking at engaging your mentor, Lila. Okay, how about team 5? Riley, Isabel, and Travis.
We don't have any questions.
Okay. How about team 6? We have Kennedy, Grace, Noah, and Kenta in team 6.
I think just Kenta's here today, but I think we talked quite a bit, so I don't know if there's any questions, but shout it out, Kenta, if you do.
All right. Serena was in our group from my question that I relayed. Serena, did you have anything else that you wanted to ask?
I didn't have any questions.
Thanks, Serena. Group 10, Elijah, Marcus, and Elisa Kayla. Anybody from group 10? 11 was our other one in my group. 13, Satchel, Kaleo, and Lance.
Just to make sure, when are you guys able to meet for the one-on-one meetings on the Monday through Friday?
Noel, can I stop sharing? And can you bring up that
Yeah.
sheet?
Yeah, I will share this now, and I believe the link to this sheet, the sign-up sheet, will also be shared with the team. So, are you able to see this?
Yes. Okay. So, we're gonna have this sign-up sheet. So any teams that are ready to sign up now, these are the slots that are available, and we can reserve your slot, or this sheet will be available in Google Classrooms for you guys to sign up. So in each of the slots, we have the 2 FishTank leaders that are available in that time slot. So that's who you'll be meeting with. And we'll fill in your team names. So we have various slots Monday through Friday from, is there a left? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
From
from
9 to 5? 9 to 4 to end at 5. So
yeah, so it's first come, first served, and there's a link in the chat. I believe this is for the sign-up sheet. So teams, you just need to go in there. Well, agree amongst yourselves what would be an ideal time, and just fill in your team name. And I believe the Zoom information is the same one, right, Lisa?
We will confirm the Zoom link for our technical Q&A meetings. So we'll post that for all of you and send you an email also. So just to be clear, you put your team name in the yellow boxes. Please don't change anything else on the sheet. Thank you, Renee. And you're just going to be working off of sheet 1. Sheet 2 doesn't really have anything. Obviously, there's more boxes than we need, than the number of teams that are active. So we hope that we can accommodate everybody here. And if there's just no time that works for any of you, you can shoot us an email or something. Write a comment at the bottom of the sheet, and we'll see it. Post in Google Classroom. You know how to get a hold of us, but just let us know.
yeah. So
it's like just getting started, just signed up already.
thanks, guys. All right. So so yeah, if you guys can sign up on that when you're ready. Lisa posted the link in the chat for everybody. And then I think we have two more teams. If there's questions from those 2 teams. I lost
14 and 15.
Yeah. 14 and 15. So 14, Jada, Opal, and Chesky. If I butchered your names, I'm really sorry. I'm horrible with names.
We don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. How about team 15? Ian, Brooke, Jude, and Verona.
Our question is if we were wanting to change our idea, could we?
Yes. If you want to change your idea, you can. If it's related to what you put in with your proposal, then, and it's kind of just part of the design process, then there's no real action necessary. If you want to do something that's radically different, then get in touch with us so that we can just make sure, similar with how we did the proposals, that there's no safety concern.
But if you have any questions on this, feel free to reach out to your team coordinator. And then, of course, we have these set of sessions coming up next week where we can talk about it in detail. is a, you know, it's a smaller team versus a large team.
Yeah. So basically, short answer is you can change it, but you, for this situation, you probably have to put in a new proposal. But yeah, you have options. Just keep in mind that because of the timing and everything, you do have that much less time on that idea. So just keep that in mind.
I want to also emphasize and I think we all talked about this just a moment ago, that it's okay for ideas to evolve, right? And that's just the nature of the design process. You have a general concept, and either you start to narrow down on a certain portion of that concept, or it starts to evolve. But that's just part of the process. As you go through the research, you go through the conversations, you get a better understanding of the problem, that solution can start to change. So I guess I'm also saying that if you're not too comfortable with the proposal that is in front of you, don't just like say come up with something completely different. Check to see if there's some iteration or some, as you go through the process of review and this design iteration, if that concept can evolve, because that's how generally it works, right? It's jumping from one idea to another may be counterproductive, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
All right, well, we're at 10 o'clock, so I think we got through all of our teams. Thank you, everybody, for taking an hour out of your Saturday to hang out with us. I hope you learned something and got something out of today's session. Please take a look at Google Classrooms, where Lisa's wonderful fish food handouts are. They have a lot of great information I think you'll find useful. And also sign up for those one-on-one sessions.